Hey VC, it's Chad. So I haven't made a haul video for a while. Um, Last weekend I was off for 4 days and took a small road trip to a wedding up in Michigan. And on my way, I stopped in Cleveland and hit up some of my favorite record stores and hit up some stores in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So that's what I'm going to show you what I found. So right now I'm listening to the Sax Maniac album from James White and the Blacks. So James White, also known as James Chance, was in the New York no wave kind of punk scene, and this one came out in 1982. Here's one I have several copies of already, but I didn't have this one. This was a Record Store Day release. I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or something like that. It's the Like Clockwork record from Queens of the Stone Age. And this is the black version. It's got like a black embossed cover on black vinyl. Really nice presentation here. And it goes for a good bit online. I think that's why I never bought it. But I picked this up in a record store used, so really cheap. So I was happy to find this. Like Clockwork. Here was one of my, I don't know, favorite finds or an awesome find. I always love this cover, and I never had this record. It is the single from Sonic Youth, Star Power. This was released on SST Records in the early or late 80s. I think these are tracks from their Evil record. This one comes on cool purple vinyl. It's only a 10-inch, so goes by pretty quick. But you know, I love Sonic Youth. Here is a record I would love to have an original of, but it's Music von Harmonia. Basically members of Neu! And Cluster, and this is like a fairly recognizable krautrock record. This was a repress on the Lilith label out of the UK or Russia or somewhere like that. Really great krautrock. One I see around a good bit. I never picked it up. I saw this fairly cheap, so I wanted to give it a listen. I love his regular band, and it's Christie, Divine Horseman, and it's Time Stands Still. So if you're not familiar with Christie, he is the lead singer, or was the lead singer for the Flesh Eaters out of LA. So early punk. And this tends to go more towards country rock kind of stuff, but this is a reissue from the early 90s on the Australian label Dog Meat. I don't know why that's funny to me, but I like the logo and stuff. So the record store I bought it from had a sticker that said like excellent solo release from this drunk. It was basically Christie is pretty notorious drinker and was in rehab and all that rock star kind of stuff. So it's a really great record. You can find it really cheap. So again, with the punk stuff, I have most of their other records are on CD or whatever. I didn't have this one on vinyl. It's These People from the Dicks, and I believe this is like a 180 gram reissue on Alternative Tentacles. I got it cheap and used. So the Dicks from Austin, Texas, from the early 80s. Here's one I picked up just when I got back from my trip at a local store on Sunday, and it's the Foreign Affairs record from Tom Waits, and this is on Asylum Records. There's a small little nick out of here, but it was only $10, so I'm not really familiar with this record, but for $10, it's a nice copy. So. This one got in my pile. This was one that I actually mail ordered, and it showed up on Friday when I was gone, and my mailman left it out on my garage, leaning up against it, and it downpoured all over it. But luckily, the shrink wrap, kept it safe. So it is the previously unreleased soundtrack for Ghost of Mars from John Carpenter. This movie is, it is what it is. Ice Cube and Jason Statham with hair. The music is more rock oriented. I think Buckethead and maybe like Anthrax or a couple people play on this, so it's okay. But I was just needed it for my John Carpenter collection, so. I actually like the movie. It's kind of cheesy, but whatever. So this is a record that, a lot of people already know about it. The original goes for, a lot of money. Maybe a year ago, I bid on one in a local auction, and the cover was kind of roached out, and I ended up losing by like $1, so I was super bummed. But anyways, I bought a repress. It was like $12. So it's the band Demon Fuzz, and this is Africa, and it's really great, Afro funk kind of record. So check it out. This one is a red vinyl pressing. Here's another used record, which I wasn't familiar with this, but it's on Stone's Throw Records, and I've showed Electric Lucifer maybe in my last video, but it's Bruce Hack's Farad. I think this is a compilation from some of those records called The Electric Voice. It was really cheap, so I couldn't pass it up. Really nice 2 LP set. I keep pushing off this one record I have down here because I'm super happy for it. I showed this band not too long ago. I found their first record. This was their last record. It's fairly not easy to come by, but it's not expensive. It just was released in like Australia or somewhere. They licensed it from Sub Pop. It's Find Your Home from the band View. And check it out. It's like kind of gothy rock, indie rock kind of stuff. Alright. So now we have some of my Grail records that I found. This one I actually picked up at a local shop, and it's Samhain Initium. I've posted this a zillion times. This is another copy in my collection. The thing about this is that the reason why I picked it up is that this is a small hole. There's a ring around the label that I didn't have a copy, and the matrix is actually different, like a later pressing. I don't think the mastering it is any different or anything like that, but I just need it when I see it. I pick them up when I can afford them. So it's one of my all-time favorite records and probably my favorite cover of all times. So who knows what other label or other channels out there are gonna show Samhain and follow it up with Betty Davis, Nasty Gal. So this one I got from a local shop. I had, I was just talking about stuff I've been looking for, and he said he had a copy and he didn't mind getting rid of it. So he brought it into the store and hit me up and said, come take a look at it. So I traded in a couple things and I was able to get this. It's an original pressing on Island Records. These records are going for stupid money lately, but this one wasn't in the best shape, but it plays really well, like VG Plus. So I was really happy. It's got the inner and it's still in the shrink. So really great Betty Davis record, Nasty Gal, which has been repressed, of course. There's some jazz records I found. So I took a small stack of records, maybe that much, of records. So I guess I'll tell a small story. I went to a flea market here 2 weeks ago, and I was leaving, didn't find anything. And then I saw a guy with dollar records. He had 2 bins, and I took a look through them. And one of the records I found was I found 2 records that I paid $1 for. One was like a weird private press psych record, and this other record that I don't know why I'm blanking right now. Nina Simone, a pastel blue, and it was an original mono pressing, but one of the sides was gashed out or whatever, so I didn't really want to keep it in my collection. So I took that, and I had a couple other records that I took to the store, and they gave me a really great trade value, so I was able to pick up a lot of what you see here on the trade, and some of these other records here. So this one, the cover's kind of has some wear, but the vinyl sounds really nice. It's an original Impulse pressing of John Coltrane's Ohm. So maybe I could find a better cover someday, but it's not terribly expensive. So I picked up a repressed copy of Cossack Music from John Coltrane and Alice Coltrane. This was released by Superior Viaduct a couple of years ago. I got this used for like $10 or something, so I was super happy about that. Like in other cities, some people charge $8 to $10 for used records, where here, if I would find this used, it would be in the $15 to $18 range. So, and you can pick up a new one for $25. So that kind of was, that's how it is. So here is a Sun Ra record that I've seen Andrew at Tales from the Crate post this one before. It's After the End of the World. Sun Ra and his Intergalactic Research Orchestra live at the Donaueschingen and Berlin festivals, and this is on BASF Records. It's got a flimsy Unipack gatefold, and it's a small cutout, but I don't really see original Sun Ra records too much. That is until at this one store that I had some decent credit on, I was able to pick this record up, which I didn't have that I wanted. It's Sun Ra's Astro Black, and this is an original quad on Impulse, and as you can see here, it's a promotion, not for sale copy. So really clean pressing, Nice gatefold. There's a little bit of ring wear, but I basically paid $25 for all these records minus the Sam Hain. So I was had a good trip so far. And so some of the record stores I went to in Cleveland, My Mind's Eye is a nice punk kind of metal record store. And where else did I go? Up in Ann Arbor, there were a few record stores, and I can't remember their names, but if you're ever in that area, it's like the University of Michigan campus. There's a lot of cool shops and whatnot. So I wish I would have had more time to head over to Detroit, but maybe next time. So. And anyways, I found a Super Grail record. As I was checking out at one of the stores, I saw it sitting behind the counter. Just it wasn't priced out or anything. I asked him about it, and he threw out a number, and I wasn't really happy with it. And I said, "Well, how about this?" And he was like, "Okay." So I was able to take this home with me, and it is an original copy of GNR's Appetite for Destruction with the original Robert Williams Appetite for Destruction artwork that was banned. So really nice copy. Has the original clean inner sleeve. The vinyl's really nice, plays VG+. So this is my forever copy. I have an original of the cross cover, and I think I showed in my last or the video before that I bought a copy of the new 2LP reissue that's with the hologram in it. But some people don't really like GNR, but I actually think this is probably one of my top 10 albums of all time, just for nostalgia. I probably have maybe 4 copies of it, so if that means anything, I don't know. But GNR, Appetite for Destruction. So that was my haul from Friday to Sunday. So hope you liked what I've shown. Anyways, take care. Peace.